There are many things that make us better at what we do, training, all these other things. But there are keys to physical success that we need and I think are super important to share with you. The first thing is consistency. No matter what you do when you train or anything in life, consistency is going to be how you make massive goals, how you get to insane strength, how you get insanely lean, and not only that, how you sustain what you're doing. One of my biggest sayings for everything is consistency beats intensity. And what that means is that I'll take somebody that'll train semi-hard to medium hard for 10 years than I will somebody will go super hard for 6 months and then they're gone. And the reason for that is that most of the goals that most people have in their head are long-term, whether they think they're short-term or not. The biggest problem we have in society is that everybody's been sold 30 days weight loss and be better in 30 days and do this in 60 days. To be honest with you, it took me 20 plus years to get where I'm at and what I did. And the big thing is I was just consistent with it. The point being is that you have to like what you do. And that's the hardest part, I think, with a lot of the training programs that I see out now, is that you see these training protocols out and they're very bland, they're very basic, they're very, linear. They do this, then they go a little harder this and a little harder that, like a linear periodization program. It's not sustainable. Most people have high levels of burnout when they do the same thing all the time. And that's what I find is a big promoter of how I train, is that the consistency is higher because the variability is higher. So if somebody's coming in and doing new exercises all the time and being challenged in new ways, it's going to help with consistency. So I'm always a big fan of, no matter how you train, is it increasing a person's consistency on how they do stuff. So the first thing that you have to be is consistent. Now, how I measure consistency is by days, weeks, right, and months, okay? So in a day, I have consistency in when I eat. 7 a.m., meal 1. Meal 2, 10 a.m. Meal 3, 12:30. Meal 4, 4 p.m. right before I train. Meal 5, 7:30, right before I lay down. This is every day for the last 10 years. I will miss a meal maybe one time a week based on something, like I don't have my food prepped or whatever. I'm usually always packing it. We go out to my car right now, there's probably a thing of food that I had today. Okay, if we look at weeks, we will train Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. That's been my training split for the last 20 years. When I miss one of these, it's either because I'm at the doctor and sick, somebody died, or the gym's on fire and all my equipment's gone. Okay, so now in a month, okay, what this means is that 1 week, okay, then 2 weeks, then 3 weeks, these things are solid build-ups of training, okay? And then the 4th week, I take something down and I let my body recover. Now, over the period of time, this is gonna look like just drawing, but this is what it looks like over the course of many, many years. As you can see, progression is not linear. It's not a straight line. But over time, you can make it a straight line as long as you know that there's ups and downs. And that means anything from being stronger to being leaner to being more fit. All of these things change and rotate, and they're not linear. I know that it sounds crazy, but I mean, nothing works in a straight line when you're trying to get stronger or get leaner or get better. Everything works in waves. Body works in waves. So if you look at days, weeks, and months, and these are different variables, of course, this has been the same way I've done my training for the last 20 plus years. And that's how I was able to get to big numbers and big weights, is that I ate consistently, I trained every day at the right time, or whatever time I had set. And then every month I trained really, really hard for 3 weeks. And then the 4th week I took something down. So for instance, last week I took down my max effort work and made it only feel like an 8.5, not a 10. And then the week before that, I backed my speed work down to 6 sets instead of 10. And the week before that, I cut my warm-ups down from 4 rounds to 2 rounds. Point is, I still worked out, I just changed what I did. So this is how I kind of keep my consistency. I eat the same time, I train the same days, and I've been following this 4-week wave style training protocol for many, many years, and that is considered consistency. The other big thing that I think is consistency that people don't understand is sleep, okay? Now, all of this is tied in big to sleep. What does that mean? That means that I'm in bed at 8:30 p.m. about 95% of the year. Your body likes to work in very similar states of every day. So the point is that if I try to go to sleep at 11 one night and then I go to bed at 9:30 the next, and then I go to bed at 12, it's confusing to the body to when to recover and when to sleep. So the point is, if I'm always laying down at 8:30 and I'm trying to be asleep by 9:30, my body is on that same cyclic wave every day. And it's very easy to get into that consistency. Again, sleep consistency, diet consistency, and training consistency are probably the 3 top things that you can have in your life for physical success. The next big thing I think with being physically successful is to have a plan, okay? In a plan, you need different phases. So, I mean, if you want to look at me personally and my phases, here you go. Strength phases. So I try to work on raising my 1 rep max. It doesn't mean I ignore it all year and I only work on it for a few weeks. It just means the emphasis of my mind and my body is only about that. Body fat. So like right now, I'm going through a phase where I'm trying to reduce body fat. So the point is, I'm still doing max work. I'm still trying to work on strength, but my true potential in what I'm trying to do at this point is body fat. The next thing is recovery. So what does that mean? That means that, you know, am I doing more hot tub work? Am I doing more walking in the pool? Am I taking care of my joints, doing more mobility work? Sometimes that doesn't take over precedence of all the other stuff. I don't eat like a turd when I'm in non-body fat positioning. The next big thing is recovery. So you'll have phases where you work on more mobility, flexibility, like, you know, your boxes are deeper when you squat. You're just doing things that are more range of motion based, okay? Then you'll go through phases where you have general physical preparedness. What does that mean? It means you're just in better shape. So some of that would be tied into body fat, but lower rest periods, higher rep ranges, right? You're still doing like heavier stuff in your days, but maybe your winning warm-ups are 5 or 6 sets instead of 4. We do that constantly, and sometimes, you know, in certain phases of the year. The point is, if you want to look at my phases through a whole year, this is what I do. I work on a little bit of strength, make that the main emphasis and not do as many warm-ups. Then some days I work on body fat and really tie in that diet and pull those carbs down. Then sometimes I make sure that my naps and all that stuff are perfect and making sure that I'm doing more flexibility work on these points. And then sometimes I'm just working on getting in really good shape. So I'm upping the amount of winning warm-ups I'm doing and things like that. Still doing all of this in the same point, but the emphasis goes down a point. But the thing of it is there's always a plan. There's always a plan. And I find that people that are successful have a plan on what they're gonna do, whether it be financial, whether it be strength training, physical success. You got to still have plans in order to make progress, because let's face it, if we don't have a plan, how do we know where we're going? So today I wanted to talk a little bit about training smart while aging, and I didn't think there was any better person to talk to than Stan Efforting. But when I train, I feel neurologically fatigued when I'm done with the workout, but if I had to, I could do that workout the next day.
Tried some of this earlier, and it's absolutely crazy delicious.
Yep.
And this is a meal that I'll cook up in the morning, thanks, you know, while I'm preparing the kids for school, and then I'll make a couple extras.
You're still going to be really strong when you're 65. Path of not only learning how to stay strong, but get insanely healthy at the same time.